Darkness hangs over Israel like a suffocating shroud. The land cracks beneath the relentless sun. Rivers shrink into dust. Fields lie barren, stripped of life. A famine, not merely of bread, but of righteousness, consumes the nation. King Ahab sits on the throne, a man who has traded the fear of God for the worship of Baal. Beside him stands Jezebel, fierce and unyielding, a queen who drenches the land in idolatry and blood. She hunts the prophets of the Lord, driving them into caves, silencing the last voices of truth. Israel groans under spiritual darkness. The people stagger through the streets, desperate for water, desperate for hope, desperate for a word from the God they abandoned. And then Elijah appears. The prophet stands before Ahab, unshaken. His voice cuts through the drought like thunder. There shall be neither dew nor rain these years, except at my word. 3 years pass. The land withers. The people break. Then Elijah summons Israel to Mount Carmel, a mountain that will become a battlefield of gods. On one side, 450 prophets of Baal, chanting, dancing, cutting themselves, begging their silent God to answer. On the other, one man, one altar, one prayer. The prophets cry out from morning until evening. No voice answers, no fire falls. Then Elijah steps forward. He rebuilds the altar of the Lord with 12 stones, one for each tribe of Israel. He drenches the sacrifice with water until it pools around the base. He lifts his eyes to heaven. Let it be known this day that you are God in Israel. And suddenly, fire falls. A torrent of flame from the heavens consumes the sacrifice, the stones, the water, the dust. The mountain trembles. The people fall on their faces. The Lord, He is God. Elijah commands the execution of the false prophets. Judgment sweeps across the valley like a cleansing wind. But Jezebel does not bow. When Jezebel hears what happened, her fury burns hotter than the fire on Carmel. She sends a message to Elisha. By this time tomorrow, you will be as dead as the prophets you killed. The prophet who faced kings now flees into the wilderness, exhausted, broken, afraid. He collapses beneath a broom tree and begs God to take his life. But God does not abandon his servant. An angel touches him. Bread and water appear beside him. Strength returns. Elijah rises and journeys to Horeb, the mountain where God once spoke to Moses, seeking the voice of the Almighty. Meanwhile, Ahab covets a vineyard belonging to a righteous man named Naboth refuses to sell the inheritance of his fathers. Ahab sulks. Jezebel plots. She arranges false witnesses. Naboth is accused, condemned, and stoned. His blood stains the earth. His vineyard is seized, but God sees it all. Elijah returns to confront Ahab in the stolen field. His voice is heavy with divine judgment. In the place where dogs licked the blood of Naboth, dogs shall lick your blood also. He turns to Jezebel. The dogs shall devour Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. The king trembles. The queen hardens her heart. Years pass. War rises. Ahab disguises himself in battle, hoping to escape the prophecy, but a stray arrow Sotatrando finds the gap in his armor. He bleeds out in his chariot. When they wash it, dogs lick his blood, just as Elisha foretold. Later, Jezebel meets her end. Jehu rides into Jezreel, anointed to bring judgment. Jezebel paints her eyes, mocking him from a window. Throw her down. Who commands? Her own eunuchs obey. She falls. Her blood splatters the wall. Horses trample her. Dogs devour her flesh. Nothing remains but skull, feet, and hands. The final humiliation of a queen who defied the living God. Elisha's time draws near. He walks with his servant Elisha to the Jordan River. The waters part before them. A final miracle, then a whirlwind descends. Chariots of fire blaze across the sky. Elijah is taken up into heaven, vanishing in a storm of glory. His mantle falls. Elisha picks it up. A new prophet rises to carry the word of the Lord. The story widens. The kings of Israel and Judah lead their nations deeper into idolatry, repeating the ancient cycle of the judges: sin, warning, judgment, repentance, and sin again. Ahab's entire family line is wiped out, a divine purge of corruption. Kings rise who provoke God's anger: Ahaz, Joram, and worst of all, Manasseh, who fills Jerusalem with blood and idols. The prophets cry out. The people refuse to listen. Judgment draws near. Assyria rises like a devouring beast. Israel, weakened by sin and rebellion, collapses. Samaria is besieged for 3 years. Starvation grips the city. Hope dies slowly. Finally, the walls fall. The people are dragged into exile. The northern kingdom is no more. This happened because they would not obey the Lord their God. In Judah, a righteous king emerges, Hezekiah. He tears down idols. He restores worship. He trusts the Lord. But Assyria comes for him too. 185,000 soldiers surround Jerusalem. The Rabshakeh, the Assyrian messenger, stands at the wall and mocks the people. Do not let Hezekiah deceive you. No god of any nation has delivered them from the king of Assyria. Fear spreads. Hezekiah goes to the temple and lays the threat before God. That night, an angel descends. By morning, 185,000 soldiers lie dead. The Assyrian army retreats in terror, but Hezekiah later falters. He shows Babylonian envoys the treasures of his kingdom. A moment of pride that foreshadows future ruin. Years later, Josiah rises a king unlike any before him. He restores the temple. He finds the book of the law buried in dust. He tears his garments in grief. He leads the nation in repentance. But even Josiah's righteousness cannot reverse generations of rebellion. Judgment is sealed. Josiah dies in battle. The nation mourns. And the final descent begins. Babylon marches with relentless force. Jerusalem is besieged. The city starves. The temple, the symbol of God's presence, is burned. The walls crumble. The treasures are carried away. The last king, Zedekiah, flees in the night, but is captured. His sons are executed before his eyes. Then his eyes are taken. He is led away in chains. a living symbol of a nation that refused to see. Israel and Judah are scattered among their enemies. The land lies desolate. The covenant people sit in exile, remembering what they lost, exactly as God warned, exactly as the prophets declared. The final consequence of persistent rebellion. The Book of 2 Kings is a solemn reminder. When a nation turns from God, when leaders embrace idolatry, when truth is silenced, when sin becomes normal, judgment follows. Yet even in the ashes, God preserves a remnant, a promise, a future. But the message stands heavy and unshakable. Drifting from God leads only to ruin. Returning to Him is the only path to life.